Hey guys, it's Mr. Oda. In today's lesson, we're going to be going over topic 3.6, age structure diagrams. So for this lesson, our objective is going to be to explain what age structure diagrams are and also what the patterns and trends in those diagrams show. Now, this diagram that you see here is probably one that you haven't seen before. We call them age structure diagrams. They can also be called population pyramids. And what they do is they show the distribution of ages in a certain population. So the picture on our side right here shows the whole world, but this could mostly be used for different countries. For example, Brazil, Japan, Africa. It's divided into two sides for males and females. And even though we call it a population pyramid, it is not always in the shape of a pyramid, and you'll see different examples in a few minutes. The shape of this graph is going to show us some information about the country's current status, as well as what the future holds for that country and its population. So a little bit more about the diagram. It's separated by males and females, and it's also separated by different age groups. And what it shows is how large that demographic is. So just as an example here, on this image, we have from ages 0 to 4, the male population is about 4.5%, and for females, that's about 4.3%. So they have about 8.8% of the population is below the age of 4. And when we talk about these ages, we mostly separate them into categories. The pre-reproductive age, which is from 0 to 14 years old. These are the people who are not having kids, they are young. The reproductive group from 15 to 45, which are having offspring. And post-reproductive from 46 to 100 plus, which is a group that is not having offspring or most likely not having offspring. And the distinction for this is that it's mostly used for females because females are the ones who are childbearing, and after a certain age, they are unable to have any more offspring. Males are able to have offspring pretty much their entire reproductive lives, but females have a very much shorter window. And these are just some of the examples of population pyramids or age structure diagrams. And you're going to notice that there are different shapes, but also that there might be some differences in the labels. So in the one for Japan, if you look at the bottom, the age groups are represented in population in millions. So each group is shown in the exact number of people that are there, whereas in the United States here and Nigeria, they show them as percentages. Now, main point of this is that when you look at the shape of this diagram, you can actually determine how fast the population is going to grow. And in the next few slides, we're going to determine if the population is growing fast, if it's stable, or if the population is actually decreasing. Now, if there's more young people, the population is going to grow much more quickly. So a population pyramid like this, which is very bottom heavy, it means the population is growing quickly. There are more people in the younger groups, which also means that there's going to be more people of reproductive age in the next few years. So because they're going to grow up, become young adults able to reproduce, they're going to have more offspring, which means that the population is going to continue to grow faster. One key thing for this is that this actually indicates a developing nation. A country that has a lot more young people is often a developing country where the young adults will go to work either in the fields or in factories, things like that. The more young people in the workforce, and people are having more babies because their family needs the young people to go to work to provide for the whole family. This also means that there's less there's less old people because there's possibly a lack of healthcare. A population pyramid that's middle heavy is something that's stable. So all the demographics are pretty much the same. They're pretty evenly spread out. Not as many people in the younger groups. These countries are going to be developed, and their population is not going to grow as quickly. And this is mostly because of a number of factors like more people in school, especially women. So if women have more educational opportunities, they're going to delay having children until later in life, which means overall the country will have less new offspring, and the population will grow a lot slower than developing nations. Also, there's more young surviving due to increased resources. Now, an interesting shape here is a top-heavy one, which actually indicates a declining population. What this shows us is that there's more older people who are past the reproductive years, and there's less people in the pre-reproductive group. What this means is in the next few years, the older population will die out, and since there's not as many young people, there won't be as many people reproducing, less offspring in the future, and their population is going to go down. There will be more people dying than there are being born. And these countries are usually very well developed economically and socially. Higher education is very common, especially for women. And one thing to note about this is that because of the lack of young people, there's going to be less people in the workforce. And what this will actually do is cause some problems in society. Again, some examples of graphs that you're going to see. The shape of the graph gives us insight on the trends. You have rapid growth, slow growth, zero growth, and negative growth or decline. And you'll notice that you can tell by the shapes, the more young people they have, the faster that population is going to grow. And again, some more examples, but also some specific names of countries that fall into these categories. So just as a quick example, Nigeria is a population that is growing very quickly because there's more young people. However, a country that's actually declining is something like Germany, where they don't have as many young reproductive people. Now, to see if you know how to read these graphs, we're going to look at a couple questions. So looking at these graphs, which of these three countries has the largest population growth? Which one has the slowest population growth? Make sure you explain your answer. And for question 2, describe the potential difference in these countries that could cause their populations to be different. So why do these countries have different population pyramids?